Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order this Tuesday study session of the Pierce County Council. It's Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. Time is 12 noon. All members are present except for Councilmember Denson, who is excused. That brings us to item number 2 of today's study session, which is review of today's regular council meeting agenda. Ms. Long, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you. This is this afternoon's regular council meeting agenda. It is amended. There's a lot on your consent agenda, and we did go over all of this. You'll see a lot of shading. There is nothing new from what we discussed yesterday, other than the one addition at the very end of your consent agenda of a budget that was filed by the Auburn School District. So that's the only change. But if you have any questions about this introduction and scheduling items, I'll pause for that.
Any questions about what's on the introduction calendar? Please proceed, Ms. Long.
All right, thank you. So we'll move down to section 7, proclamations, recognitions, awards, and presentations. And you do have a proclamation today that's honoring the veterans of Pierce County and observing November 11th, 2024 as Veterans Day in Pierce County. And that was requested by council members Herrera and Hitchen. I don't know if you've decided the reader on that one,
But I assumed you were.
What's that?
I assume.
Yes.
read the proclamation. Okay,
Herrera?
all right.
Sorry.
Under section 8 resolutions, you have first off 5 interlocal agreements. These are all quite similar. These are between Pierce County and a city or town in the county. So I'll go through these quickly. R 2024-228, this one. And these are all for specialized law enforcement services. The first is with the city of Fife, and this received a due pass at rules on October 29th. Our 2024-229S is with the city of Buckley. This received a due pass as substituted at rules on October 29th. Our 2024-232S is with the city of DuPont. This received a due pass as substituted at rules on October 29th. Our 2024-233 is with the city of Milton, and that received a due pass at rules on October 29th. And the last of these is our 2024-234. This is with the town of Stillicum, and that received a due pass at rules on October 29th. Next, we have our 2024-235. This is adopting a new organization chart for the Office of the County Council. This received a due pass at rules on October 29th. And you have one item under section 9, ordinances, and that's O 2024-558. That is amending the Pierce County Salary Classification Plan to establish and revise classifications and salaries for the Office of the Pierce County Council. And that also received a due pass recommendation at rules on October 29th. And those are your agenda items for this afternoon's meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Long. For the record, Councilmember Denson has joined us. Are there any questions about the regular meeting agenda today at 3 p.m.? I'm not seeing any. That brings us to item number 3, which is external boards and commissions. Our policy director to kick us off as usual, Mr. Taylor.
Good afternoon. Just one item to report on. Growth Management Policy Board of the Puget Sound Regional Council. The Policy Board has its regular meeting this week, November the 7th. That's Thursday, 10 a.m. The agenda is relatively light. There aren't any action items to note. There's several discussion items that I believe members are already tracking that will be reported out on at the Policy Board. The first is an update on the 2024 housing monitoring report, basically the state of the region's housing. There will be an update on the Regional Safety Action Plan development that I think you're all familiar with. That's been discussed before. And then there'll be an update on what happened at the Transit-Oriented Development event, a recap on those activities. Fairly light agenda in terms of action, so mostly discussion. That's all I have to report on.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thanks.
Do any other members have any other external boards or commission updates? I will note from Pierce Transit, they just launched a brand new website. It's been a number of years since they've revamped their website. So new website is launched. It's a bit more user friendly. The trip planner is right on the homepage instead of like 5 pages deep.
Oh,
So
nice.
all kinds of amenities to make the website more forward facing and easier for everyday folks to access and use the tools and understand the many services of Pierce Transit. So take a look at that new website and share it with your constituents. I think it'll help folks navigate the services of Pierce Transit a bit better. Any other updates from other members? Okay, not seeing any. We're at item number 4, Chair's Topics. I just wanted to note, I know our staff is working really hard to support us in the many pieces of legislation that's in front of us between now and the end of the year. In particular, the Community Development and Environment Committee has a huge body of work that they're leading for us with the comprehensive plan and the associated documents. So our staff will be working to find more time for that committee in particular to hopefully make a recommendation to the full council about the comprehensive plan. But you know, what's really, really helpful is if members keep their calendars really updated, and so that as Mr. Taylor and the team need to find more time over the next 8 weeks, that they can do so expeditiously. And so have your offices very available. Please try to be mindful about what you can move that's not absolutely needed for you, what other things you can move off your calendar so that you can really be available for council business, whether it be committee business or committee of the whole or full council business. We really need the council's attention and energy on so many different fronts between now and the end of the year. So just in closing, please be as flexible as possible. Please clear a calendar of other non-essential business items so that our committees and the council can do the people's business between now and the end of the year. Councilor Hitchin.
Thank you, Chair. In that line, I'm wondering, is it possible to maybe in the next week or so go in and do like kind of figure out some blocks that work with most of our calendars and just have us create like hold for possible meetings so that we don't inadvertently commit the first week of December when we forget that this conversation happened, something like that.
Absolutely. I'll work with Mr. Taylor to maybe, you know, we'll try to be really clear about what we're holding versus what's an officially called meeting. But we know how busy everybody is, and we also know there's some travel, right? There's Thanksgiving and there's a State Association of Counties conference. And so the time is at a premium. And so to your point, trying to hold time outside of Thanksgiving and these other commitments that we have, so if we need it, we can utilize it. But yeah, you know, we have a lot of work to do. We have and many of these things, the public will have a lot to say about it. So it's not just disposing of the items simply here. It's making really good opportunities for the public to weigh in and so that we can hear them as we make final decisions. So this is all going to take a lot of time. We've got to be patient, and we'll continue to find more blocks of time. So thank you for suggesting that. Thanks everyone for your flexibility and graciousness in advance. We're at item number 5, other business. Mr. Dominique, you gave us an update yesterday, but what more do you have to offer today as our communications manager?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the council, Brian Dominique, council staff. Just wanted to provide a few quick updates. So we had the Veterans Day proclamation on the council agenda today. We are expecting a fairly large turnout for that. So expect to see a full council chambers. And then I sent out an email this morning. We got a proclamation request. A Pierce County community member was named Mrs. Woman of the World in a pageant for married women. There's some information in the email about that, but we got an email requesting that we recognize her. So that's in your email box. If you have any questions, please feel free to get with me. And then for communications, election year restrictions are going to be lifting on November 30th. So I'm sure some of you will want to be putting out some information. If you're thinking of doing any kind of mailer, please let me know sooner rather than later. I will be sending out an email with like a drop dead date on when we can get this out. I'm still working on tracking down exactly what that day is, for billing purposes. But if you think that's going to be in your communications plan on wanting to communicate with your constituents, please do let me know. That's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Dominique? Thank you for supporting us in all of our communications needs and being really clear about what the deadlines are. We can't just turn something around overnight. It's a lot of coordination with the print house and mail house and all that. So thank you for making that clear. Any other business by members? Well, as always, the end of the study session packet, there is our legislative hopper and our outlook for the rest of the year, so you can reference that. Ms. Long, is there any other business for council?
There's not today. Thank you.
With no other business before the Pierce County Council and Tuesday study session, we are adjourned.